it's Sharona from Pay Your Weights, and today I'm going to be reviewing American Horror Story Red Tide, Season 10, Episode 4, Blood Buffet. I don't know why every time I want to say Red Tide, every time I say Red Tide, I want to say Roll Tide. I'm not even like a Bama fan. I'm not a college football fan like that anyway, but that was just a random side note that I was just thinking, and I have to say out loud that has nothing to do with this episode. But getting into this week's episode, which I'm going to have to admit was a very lackluster episode, we get the backstory on Austin and Sarah, aka Belle, since y'all be like, you calling her by the wrong name. I was like, I think her government name is Sarah, but I could have made that up. But we get an introduction to the chemist played by Angelica Ross, okay, because she was spitting out them credentials. She said, you know what, you better put some respect on my name because I have a PhD from Harvard, okay? Harvard, all right? So, she basically says that she left her previous job. They were working on a way on how to control people. But I guess they got into it. They had some creative differences, okay? And they had to end their relationship very abruptly, which is why she was looking for a quiet place to lay low in order for her to do her research. And so essentially, she ends up meeting Mickey at the Muse, where she convinces him to come home with her and basically tells him about the pill that she's trying to do a test study on, and she wants him to take the pill in order to help her finish her research. Now, Mickey was like, you know what, like I don't feel like I'm talented enough, and I don't really want to take that risk of what will happen if I'm not as talented as I think I am. So he said, hell to the no. I'm not taking no pill that you can't really tell me what it does. I'm not about to be your test dummy. I said, you know what? As much as people try to underestimate, they try to make it seem like Mickey ain't right in the head. Mickey knew better than to take that damn pill, even though he took it now. So I don't understand. I was like, well, you should have just took the pill a few years ago. Like, why? Okay, that's besides the point. So basically, she tells him like, hey, I'm going to give you $50 for every person that you bring in to take this pill. That way you can make some money and you can bring some people to me. So we see that he's having a conversation with Karen, who all of a sudden, I was like, Karen, I don't know what illness that you have, since people told me she ain't really got TB. But when she was like, I only had bronchitis 5 times so far this year, I said, bitch, that is not a milestone that you should be celebrating. Like, how often do you really be getting bronchitis? I was a little scared for her. So she basically ends up having this conversation. So basically, this is why Mickey is always watching people sing to help find talent. And we see this guy who is singing, and I was like, okay, you got like a little voice to you. Like, go ahead. Like, now I understand why he goes to the Muse. This is how he finds talent. It's the only place in town to meet people. So I was like, okay, look at you already starting your job, trying to get your coins. But we end up meeting Sarah, aka Belle. Since y'all don't, I think her name is Sarah. We not going by her writer's name. But she is in a half-empty library, basically reading from her book. And we get a little bit backstory on her. Her husband is so damn raggedy, like raggedy. The way that he was talking to her, when he basically said, I mean, he had a point though, because he was like, ma'am, you be writing these like novels, but when's the last time you touched my pen? And I was like, well, bitch, I thought you had a very healthy sex life if you writing all of this stuff. But I guess those that can't do, they just write it. So I don't know what was happening. That does not excuse his behavior. Okay, it doesn't excuse his behavior. But he started calling her weak and all this stuff. And I was just like, something tells me in my spirit that she gonna end up killing her husband, okay? And I guess that whole thought came to fruition before the end of the episode. But we see that Mickey ends up seeing Sarah, aka Belle, at the Muse, because I'm gonna keep calling her Sarah. I don't care what y'all say her name is. He's seeing her at the Muse, and then she was like, hey, like, do you have any cocaine? Because you look like a drug addict. I said, now, ma'am, you can't just be telling people that. What if he just had a hard life? What if he has a medical condition? Yes, he is a drug addict, but I'm just saying, you can't just be walking up to people in public talking about, hey, you look like a drug addict. Do you have some cocaine? That just doesn't work. But Mickey has some cocaine. He gave it to her. She was living her best life, dancing, getting her entire life. And she was like, hey, can I get some more cocaine? No, because I'm trying to feel this again. And he was like, baby, it don't work that way. I'm just going to let you know now, as a drug addict myself, you can't ever get the first high that you ever get, so you might as well let it go. But I got that new. I got this new. It's so new and it's so good that it don't even have a name yet. And so, of course, she ends up meeting up with a chemist, and then she ends up taking this pill. So we see in between that, at the bar, we see that the guy who, the first test subject 1, aka Jared Leto wannabe number 1, this is like patient 0 for the Jared Leto wannabe tribe. He took the pill and his hair starts falling out. He drank the Bloody Mary. He started throwing up. His hair started coming out. And so then we realized, I was like, well, baby, I thought you had some decent pipes, but I guess you wasn't talented enough, like maybe karaoke talented, but you can't go and win American Idol talented. So of course he starts puking. And so we see that, after he goes to talk to, actually, I'm gonna skip that. Let me go back to Bill real quick because I'm getting out of sorts real quick, and I need to just bring it back for a moment. I do want to give kudos to Sarah, aka Bill, for being able to say that like heavy-set men matter too, okay? Because don't act like them heavy-set men can't give you a little cushion for your push and some good love and some in the boom boom room. But if my parents are watching, I don't know, you know, because I'm a virgin, but I'm just saying from what my friends have told me that, you know, don't be underestimating the chubby men. Don't be underestimating the women who have, you know, some extra meat on their bones, all right? Because we matter too. So we see that my theory is quickly proven correct. After she takes a pill, she goes home, she starts writing. She wrote like a whole nother book in one night. Her husband comes home. She's like, I just finished my book. And he's like, you didn't write no book. And then he reads the excerpt. He's like, no, this is good. You couldn't have written it. I was like, ooh, sir. And so then she ends up getting upset because he talked about how he was with a woman who touched me and all this stuff. And then she ends up hitting him, cutting him. And then she started drinking his blood. And I was like, well, you know what? Like if somebody had to die, like it was him. It was him. I don't condone death, but I'm just saying he probably deserved it. So we see that, she ends up doing her interview with the chemist. She talks about how she dumped his body on the shore. We saw the little body parts come up when the interior designer who sold the chemist her house. We saw him find basically the remnants of her husband's body, what was left of it. But we see that Jared Leto wannabe, he's not doing too good, y'all. He's not doing good at all. He bald-headed now. He looks sick. He don't know what's going on. So he goes and tries to talk to the chemist. And then basically she was just like, baby, you just ain't got it. You don't have that creativity that I'm looking for, honey. And then he tried to lunge at her. When I say my girl pulled out that gun real quick, like, Beck, get out of my house. I was just like a woman right there, okay? I felt that. But did y'all notice how she had take one bitches for the kids for trick-or-treating? I was like, how you gonna call the kids some bitches? I just, the chemist, just, I can't. I would not do anything. I love the kids, but I felt that in my spirit. I wish I had the strength to put a sign up like that. But we see that, you know, the Jared Leto wannabe, he went to the store where we saw, you know, the Dr. Teeth lady. And basically, out of all the coats in the world, out of all the coats that he could have chose, that's the coat that he chose. I was like, that's how I know you ain't talented, baby, because you chose that raggedy coat, which I'm sure would have been lit back in the 80s. But still, that's the coat that you chose? Like, no wonder your hair falling out. No wonder you ain't got no talent. You can't even pick out a nice jacket when you see it. But we see that he ends up walking around. We see that he ended up killing a lady she was just trying to pray. She said, can you come pray with me in this food, and killed her. She just trying to pray for her loved ones. He ended up walking out. He just walking the streets with blood on his chest and stuff, but it's Halloween, so no one can tell that something is amiss at this point. He sees a guy puking in the alley. He ends up killing him as well. And so essentially we end up getting the backstory to Austin, who is a wannabe playwright at the time. He is working at a drag bar, basically doing performances. I was like, you know what? One thing that I didn't have in my bingo card during this panorama that I didn't know I needed until now was seeing Evan Peters doing drag. It really just put a smile on my face. But why Austin? Why is your name Patio Furniture? Patio Furniture? What are we doing? Sir, you're better than that. At first I was about to be like, if I didn't know then what I knew now and didn't know that you talented, I would just be like, baby, don't get her no pill. Patio Furniture, you should be ashamed of yourself. But you did good with your performance, baby. You did good with your performance. What song was he singing? He was singing something by heart. I forgot what it's called. I'd come back to it. He was singing Magic Man. So we see that, you know, before he was getting bullied by the other drag, okay? Even though, hey, shout out to Eureka, I see you, boo. So basically Crystal, played by Eureka, they were clowning him, like really clowning him. I was just like, dang, like y'all just gonna load up on him like that. Y'all just gonna do him like that, do him dirty. So we see that Belle ends up going to, AKA Sarah, ends up going to talk to him at the end, and basically was like, hey, like you don't deserve to do all of this. She's like, what's your story? He was like, well, I had a plan, and then this dude just disappeared. She done killed the damn owner of the playhouse that was supposed to be producing, you know, his little show. And then she was like, you know what, I got something better for you. So she gave him the pill. He started foaming at the mouth. I don't know what happened. I was like, that's so nasty. I ain't need to see all of that. And so essentially that's how he ended up becoming a part of the Muse tribe. And then they went back to get back at them haters. This is why y'all gotta watch how y'all be talking to people, okay? Because somebody gonna take their Muse pill and they gonna come after you because you was trying to talk some smack, trying to diminish somebody else's light in order to make yourself feel better. And what happened? I don't know why Belle, aka Sarah, started shooting all of them. I was like, baby, you don't want to, like, people can hear gunshots. But I mean, I guess they said the town is empty. Maybe nobody will hear it. So they end up killing, she shoot everybody. They end up eating. Crystal gets away. Then I was like, okay, good for you, Crystal. Look at you getting away. Even though you was talking, oh, you was the ringleader of talking all that smack. But Jared Leto wannabe got Crystal, died. The episode went off, and I was just like, that's it. To be honest, this was a weak episode. I normally love flashbacks. I love learning about everybody, but nothing really happened that was giving me what it needed to be giving me. I was a little upset by that, y'all. I don't know if y'all thought it was a great episode. Outside of, you know, Evan Peters giving me drag and seeing Eureka, like, I was just underwhelmed. I was underwhelmed a little bit. But I guess sometimes we gotta have stories, you know, episodes that just give us the exposition, the backstory of all of our characters to where we meet them today. But I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna let them slide because we on episode 4. This is when it starts taking a turn for worse. So I thought it was called Double Feature. I don't know if they're supposed to be, I thought it's supposed to be switching into aliens. I don't know how that switch is going to happen, how they're going to really tie up all of these storylines that are happening. So I don't know, but I was underwhelmed. Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I was underwhelmed for this episode. But those are my thoughts on American Horror Story, Red Tide. Oh, I almost said Roll Tide. Season 10, episode 4, Blood Buffet. I think it was called Blood Buffet, okay? So this is more like a snooze fest, okay? This is snooze fest. But those are my thoughts on the episode. We're going to keep it positive because I don't want nobody coming for me, okay, with them Muse pills trying to eat me. So I'm going to keep it positive. But those are my thoughts on the episode. As always, my name is Sharona from Pay or Waits. And if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit the notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. And until I see you again, bye.